Alrighty, hi everyone, this is Michael Truong, and in this video, I will be briefly talking to you about what culturally responsive teaching is and some misconceptions behind it because, it is a buzzword that has been floating around for the past several years. So I hope that this video kind of clears the air a little bit on what exactly it is. And then at the end of the video, I will be talking about a book study group that I will be leading through NHMEA. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me share my screen. All right, so what is culturally responsive teaching? In a nutshell, it is a process founded in the 1990s by Dr. Gloria Ladson-Billings. And at the time, it was called culturally relevant teaching. So if you search into this a little bit more, you might see that term come up. Just know that there are two different terms with the same exact meaning. And the goal was to combat against this deficit ideology that existed in the education system here in the United States back in the day. And what the deficit ideology was the belief that if you're of a different race, if you're of a different ethnicity, if you were born and raised in a different cultural background than that of the dominant white American culture, then you have a deficiency when it comes to your learning because of your upbringing. And you won't be successful in school unless you forget about your culture of home and you assimilate to that dominant white American culture. So Dr. Ladson-Billings saw this and she was like, whoa, hold up. Instead of asking and focusing on what's wrong with these students, she sought to ask what's right with these students. What skills are they bringing into the classroom and how can we nurture those skills? How can we nurture those students and empower them to become independent learners in the classroom? That's the goal of culturally responsive teaching, ensuring that students become independent learners. And it's important to note that even though culturally responsive teaching, you see it associated often with students of color and students of different cultural upbringings, it's important to note that culturally responsive teaching and all of the strategies that come with it, they're beneficial to all types of students and not just those students. All right, so let's go ahead and quickly talk about some misconceptions with culturally responsive teaching. The biggest one that I see is that a lot of folks get culturally responsive teaching confused with multicultural education and social justice education. And even though there are lots of similarities and lots of intersectionalities between the three different frameworks and pedagogies, it's important to know what exactly each one entails and not lump them all together, because otherwise, it will diminish the worth of all of these different frameworks. So to start with multicultural education, this is where diversity and inclusion work lies. And the main goal is social harmony. This is where the mirror and window curriculum lies. So for example, you want your curriculum to be like a mirror so students can see themselves reflected in the curriculum, and a window so students can see themselves, or so students can see perspectives outside of their own and gain an appreciation of that. That's what multicultural education is. It's important to note that even though that's important, it does not necessarily translate to helping students become independent learners, right? I can teach my students all about Ghanaian music. I can teach them about Ghanaian drumming techniques. However, that does not mean that they'll be independent learners necessarily. With social justice education, this is where important anti-racist and equity work lie. Through social justice education, we want to raise and build students' consciousness and awareness of the many inequities that surround them. And we want to ensure that they become contributing members of society and make sure that they stand up for what they believe in. That's what social justice education is. And again, though very important, it does not necessarily translate to helping students become independent learners. That's what culturally responsive teaching is all about, accelerating the learning. How do we develop students' cognitive cognition? How do we develop students' cognition so that they build and develop so that they develop the agency to become independent learners? And it's important to note that even though those are the differences, it's not either or, but rather both and. We want to make sure that we are incorporating all three of these different pedagogies and different frameworks into our teaching practice, especially as teachers teaching students in 21st century America, which is a multicultural and multilingual society. All right, and let's go ahead. Oops, my slideshow is being weird. Let's go ahead and talk about my book study group. So through NHMEA, I will be hosting a book study on culturally responsive teaching and the brain by Zaretta Hammond. This will begin on October 6th, which is the first Wednesday of the month. And basically what it is that each month we'll get together, we'll read a chapter, and then we'll get together through Google Meets, and then we'll discuss that chapter. This will all be done through Google Classroom. That's where I'll post the meeting links. That's where you can ask questions about the reading if you have any. That's where we can have discussion posts, basically like a huge, well, not a huge, but a forum where we can post anything we want related to the book. And so I think it'll be cool. I think it'll be exciting. If you would like to join the Google Classroom, feel free to email me at mtruong@sau53.org. Oh, last thing, it's important to note that you do need to get your own copy of the book. NHMEA will not provide everybody their own copy. Okay, so if you do want to join, make sure that you have your own copy of the book somehow. All right, and if you have any questions at all, feel free again to email me at mtruong@sau53.org. Awesome. Thanks everybody. I look forward to it. Bye. Oh.